In our previous video, we looked at dynamic images with geolocation. And in order to achieve that, dynamically swapping the images out, we used logic hop shortcodes. Now, shortcodes are a great way to automatically insert logic hop variable data such as region codes, location data, and so forth. Here we're seeing Florida inserted. But this becomes a problem if your website uses caching, and so many websites do. To get around this or to work post-load after the page loads, we can employ logic hop JavaScript. In order to do so, we need to make sure that we have JavaScript variables enabled. Simply going to the logic hop settings and clicking Enable JavaScript Variable Display. And what this will allow us to do is, instead of using the logic hop data shortcode, we can replace this. What I'm going to do is say region code from JS, short for JavaScript. And I can go ahead and insert that similar to our shortcode. I come to data, and instead of choosing the variable display shortcode, I can choose variable display JavaScript. And what I'm going to do is just simply select region code and click insert, and that will be inserted here. If I go ahead and click update and reload our page, you'll see that I'm seeing this as well. Now what happens with this, and it happens very quickly, is once the page loads, an AJAX request is fired off to your website and the logic hop variable is loaded in. We're also using conditions on this page. If I go ahead and remove these conditions, you'll see what I have here is, if I update the page, I have my two images. These are both being displayed right now. So this is my dynamically generated images because I'm in Florida, and this is my default image. Now, the conditional statements allowed us to determine which was going to be displayed. So I'm going to go in and use JavaScript to display or to control these conditions. So using the logic hop JavaScript palette, I'll select is user in Florida or California, and I can add this. So the initial state of this element is going to be hidden, and it's going to be shown when the condition is met. I can also do things like faded in, faded out, and so forth. I'm just going to leave it on show for now. And it's going to be triggered when the condition is met. So I'm going to insert that JavaScript condition here. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it around my image. That is the one that contains my region code. Similar to that, we need to do the inverse. So if the user is not from Florida or California, I'm going to add in JavaScript and select a condition. Again, is the user in Florida or California? The initial state is hidden. When the condition is met, we're going to show it. But now I'm going to do the opposite. So when the condition is not met, and insert that here. So simply what this is doing is, this is exactly what we did with our conditional shortcodes, but now we're doing it with JavaScript. We have these div elements on the page. You can style them however you want. Well, we leave them plain by default. So if I go ahead and update this, we should see only the Florida display here. So if I click reload, there we go. Now it's being shown for Florida. You also see that our data, our event is show. So if I want to change that and I want to set it to be something like fade in, let's update this and take a look. We'll see that that div fades in and displays the image. We can use any jQuery display event, so we can use fade in, slide up, slide down, and so forth. Anything to hide or show the image. Now if I come back here and take a look, what we're doing will work with caching in place, except this element here. Here we still have a shortcode, and this would be cached. I want to replace this with our JavaScript image code. So I'm going to just add this, paste this in, and this is something that you can grab from our documentation and go ahead and paste this right in, so it's easy to do. You'll see there are a couple of different properties here. We have a style for the image, set display none. We have a class, and this is logic hop-js. This will allow us to evaluate this image after the page loads. The data type, that just determines that we're going to replace the source, or we're going to search the source for this pound var pound, or number sign var number sign, and it's going to be replaced with this data var, which is going to be our variable, the location dot region code. And then similar to the div itself, the event here is set to fade in. So all I'm going to do is update this. And when we come to our page and I go ahead and reload, you'll see it functions exactly the same. I can also go in and remove this additional region code that I have here. I'll update. And if I reload this, we'll see that just goes ahead and loads right in. And that's really all there is to it. We're simply replacing our short codes with divs and JavaScript. So this is going to allow us to work with any caching plugin, things like WP Super Cache, Total Cache, and what have you. There's a little bit more code, but once you see it in action, it definitely becomes intuitive, and you can grab all of the samples and paste them in from our documentation, so we make it easy to work with. And I hope this is helpful, just another way that you can see how to use logic hop conditions and variable replacement to personalize your website.